Well, the last video I posted to the channel reached the painfully high bar of one singular view. And with that, I just want to say thank you, Mom. But not to my own mom. To that one other person's mom who found that video probably entirely on accident. Cheers. Anyway, everyone and their mom knows that if you're enjoying the content, you should subscribe and hit that bell icon. You'll be notified of my shenanigans whenever they occur. It's completely free, and you can undo it later if you decide it ain't for you. Picking up where we last left off, I completely chose to ignore trying to find Chauncey and instead opted to explore the Boston Commonwealth. This is when I ran into a guy wearing power armor trying to steal the catalytic converter off a car on the side of the road. I confronted him, and he told me where he lived for whatever reason. Judging by the way he desperately tried to bring me home, I'd guess this cat hasn't had any. Moving on, I made my way to Lexington, where I definitely didn't run into any issues whatsoever with the Raider in power armor equipped with a Fat Man mini-nuke launcher. I will mention, however, that hearing the whistling of a mini-nuke being Hail Married in my general direction does make my cheeks clench tighter than the femur breaker. Anyway, after definitely successfully dealing with that guy the first time, I snuck my way into the Corvega assembly plant. Codsworth, however, was having absolutely none of that stealth nonsense, and decided that loudly yelling "Peekaboo" was the correct course of action. I dealt with the raiders, made my way outside, and climbed to the very top to grab a bobblehead that somehow makes my fusion cores last longer. Now, if only I could find one of those that'll make my relationships last longer. Once that was obtained, I began scuttling towards Camden, where I not only found a lot of feral ghouls, but also another Giga Chad in power armor. I gave him a hand with a side of sarcasm, to which he did not laugh at, but seemed rather annoyed, or maybe like he had a stick up his. Sometimes I just can't tell with people. It was in that moment I knew I had to side with Buzz Lightyear in order to get Sheldon back. But to do that, I needed to help Buzz reach Star Command, and we headed off to ArcJet Systems to find a deep-range transmitter. After casually opening doors, being assaulted by the Institute and their mannequins, and cooking Paladin Lightyear alive with a rocket engine, we finally had the part we needed to call Buzz's brother from the hood, or something. I wasn't really paying attention because he handed me a very shiny object that he personally made for me, that I'm sure won't be forgotten by the next episode. Following that steamy interaction, I departed the toy box to go seek out entertainment. And I was not disappointed, as there were Diamond City security guards fighting super mutants just outside the baseball stadium. I may have stood around doing less than nothing, just hoping that one of these guards might accidentally, well, trip? And then I grabbed the sweet DC security armor off his scantily clothed body. To my absolute horror, the next person I ran into was the town reporter, and tucking the security guard's armor somewhere tight and unseen, I was then brought into Diamond City with what I can only assume is a native Bostonian mating call. I did an interview with the reporter, where I poured my heart out just as I typically do with anyone in proximity to me that will listen, much like Forrest Gump. Then, I suddenly had a craving, an unexplainable urge, to go sewer crawling. So I headed to the biggest sewer I could find, the subway metro. The amount of I've seen down there is absolutely astounding, and I wasn't disappointed, as immediately I started running into some wannabe gangsters that haven't even heard the song Gangsta's Paradise. Posers. Anyway, making my way deep through the bowels of Boston, I found a vault, rescued Mr. Metal for Hands, and failed to do yet another speech check, much like Lucy from the TV series. Nick and I left the vault, where I absolutely lied about not knowing he was going to be down there, as a way to preserve my integrity as the main character of Undertale with the power to reload saves and start new games as I see fit. And the synth detective walked off towards Diamond City, expecting me to follow like the good boy I am.